Hey everyone, it's Babe. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video, and man, my New Year's has been just one that I literally would never forget. My apologies for the microphone being in the camera. I can't really hide it, to be honest. Usually I have like, a screen hiding where my microphone is at, but I can't hide it, so y'all are just gonna have to see it. But yeah, so, I haven't really been active, on the channel lately. And that is due to the fact that my health was not the greatest. And I decided to rest and take a break. I wasn't able to film videos. I didn't really have the energy to edit videos. And so if you're wondering why I haven't really been active on here, that is why. I wanted to come on here and talk about how I had to spend my New Year's Day at the ER. Yeah, this was a lot. This has been a lot in the past couple of days. Now, like I said, I did get sick a couple of days ago, and so all this pretty much started with the flu. So I'm going to walk you guys through, when I got sick, what even transpired after I got sick, and then what led me into having to, go to the ER. And so basically, on December 30th, I'm filming this on January 2nd. I'm going to try to upload this the same day. I'm not sure, but recording this on January 2nd. I got sick on December 30th. And so I started feeling really, really bad, right? And I had like COVID-like symptoms. And so I started tracking everything. And so I'm actually going to pull up the document that I have. So, wait, was it Thursday or Wednesday? Why'd I write down Wednesday? Did I start feeling bad Wednesday? I've been saying Thursday this whole time. Okay, my apologies. So, actually, I started feeling bad on... Wait a minute. I'm sorry, y'all. I got my... I got my dates all mixed up. Wait a minute. My apologies. I've been telling people all the wrong stuff, information. My mind is just all over the place because it's been a lot. But basically, yeah, I started feeling bad on Wednesday. And so on Wednesday, some of the symptoms I had was, I was feeling under the weather. You know how you kind of get like just that sickly feeling on your body? That's how I felt. I had a headache, like an ongoing headache. I was feeling very hot and cold. My body wouldn't stay at a consistent temperature at all, which honestly, that ended up being the worst symptom. And I'll explain why later. And I also had body aches. And so as soon as I started to feel all that, I'm like, oh, it's giving COVID. Because usually when you have body aches, that's usually a telltale sign that you have COVID. And so at this point, the only person that, because y'all know I don't go nowhere. I don't go out. I haven't really been around nobody. Like literally, like I haven't really been out the house or anything in like weeks. And so the only person that I had immediate contact with was a FedEx person, because he had to deliver my new iPhone 13. And, when you order electronics, you usually have to sign for it. And so I saw that he was at the door, he was ringing the doorbell. And also at this time too, my mom wasn't even here with me because she had to take my dog to the vet because he wasn't feeling well. And so I was home by myself, and so I'm the one that grabbed the package from him. And immediately after that, I started feeling sick. And so of course my mind goes to, oh, this FedEx man gave me COVID. And so I'm like, what the heck? Because also I had COVID at the beginning of the year. In January of 2022, I had COVID, and I have a video of that on my channel as well. I didn't make a video of I didn't make the video when I had COVID, but I made the video around like April, May of what my experience was like, because I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait until I knew for sure that I was like graduating and leaving from Mason. But I talked about my my horrible quarantine experience at Mason. So if you guys haven't seen that and you're a Mason student, check it out. But yeah, so I'm like, how is it that I started the year off with COVID and now I'm potentially ending the year off with COVID, right? And so, I'm just trying to go through the motions. Trying to do everything, take medication, rest, drink plenty of water, all of that, right? We get to Thursday, and now some of my symptoms are starting to, now I'm starting to get more symptoms. So now I have extreme. I have like a lot of aching pain in my eyes and in my ears. And it was like a lot, and it was like annoying and very painful. Still slightly hot and cold and still feeling under the weather. And so now this is the part that became tricky. So I had a fever, right? I had a fever, and that's normal when you get sick. But the problem is I had a very high fever, and I had a really hard time getting this fever down. And so, I'm tracking my fever. I'm obviously not going to tell you guys, every single temperature I had, because I was tracking it like pretty much like by the hour. But this is where things started to get alarming. So Thursday night at midnight, my temperature had reached 103.9 degrees. And when I saw that number, I was like, oh, this isn't safe. This is not safe. This is a very dangerous temperature. Like that's almost 104 degrees, which would have been even worse. And so that's when I definitely started to panic, because I'm like, okay, I don't want to go to the hospital. That's the other thing too. This whole time I've been saying I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to go, see nobody. And so I was doing everything in my power to get the temperature down on my own. And I did. And it took some time. But around like 2:45 a.m., I did bring it down to 101. I know that's still high, but it was low enough for me to be comfortable enough to go to sleep and not worry. And in the midst of me getting my fever down, I just, I put on like a short sleeve shirt, drank water. I had a cold towel over my head, all of that, right? And so, I'm doing all of that to keep my temperature down. Okay, and then so my mom, I'm trying to think, was it Friday or no. Okay, I'm sorry. So my mom comes into the room to check on me before she heads off to work, I believe, and it was like 4:00 in the morning. And I was telling her about, what I had went through during the night. I'm like, yeah, my temperature got up to this level, but I got it down, don't worry about it. But when she heard that 103.9, she did get really concerned, but she was glad that I didn't allow myself to go back to sleep after that. And, I actually tried to like get it down. And so at that point, when I checked it again, my temperature was at 98.9 degrees. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, I must have broke my fever completely. And so, I was chilling. I'm thinking I'm back to normal, like everything's fine. And then, because now this is, it's 4:00 in the morning. So it is Friday. So this is 4:00 in the morning, Friday. So later in the day, when I wake up at 11, still 98.8. I'm like, okay, great, no worries. I'm trying to remember what exactly I was doing around this time, but basically, I think I had started to feel a little bad again, and I started getting like cold. Oh, that was the other thing too. I had the shakes real bad, which was another COVID symptom that I've had previously. I started like shivering and getting really cold, and I started noticing that. And so once I noticed that, I went back to my room and went to go lay down to take a nap. And I was like, you know what, let me just take my temperature again before I officially take a nap. And so I take my temperature, and it is 103.3. Now, mind you, the last time I took my temperature earlier in the day, it was at 98.8. And now it's shot back up to 103.3. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Now, it's one thing for your temperature to rise at night, because that is normal. Granted, it still shouldn't be in this level, but it's more understandable. This was at like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's like this. And so now I'm really concerned, because I'm like, if it's this high now, what is it gonna get to tonight? And so I started doing the same methods. And see, this is where it starts to become very, very uncomfortable for me. Because every single time I would sit there and try to get my fever down, I had to deal with cold sweats. And this was the first time I've ever dealt with cold sweats. And it was one of the most miserable things ever. And it's crazy too, because like when I told my mom, I told someone else I had cold sweats, they were kind of just like laughing it off. But I'm like, no, like this is miserable. Cause like imagine, cause I was trying to. That's the other thing too. I explained it to them, and they weren't like very reactive to it. But cold sweats, I don't know. In my opinion, having cold sweats is very uncomfortable. Maybe I'm just crazy, but it was really, really miserable, because you're literally sweating, but you're also cold. And then, the air is hitting the sweat, which is making you even colder. But then it's like, because I was trying to break my fever, I wasn't able to like, bundle up or put on layers, because I'm having to just let my body, break this fever. But by doing that, I'm like freezing from like the sweat, and it's just, it was awful. The cold sweats were really hard to deal with. And at this point in time, I didn't get any sleep. Like I think, well, no, Friday, I think I did get sleep. Did I get sleep on Friday? No, I did. Okay. So, so yeah, basically had a lot of cold sweats, but just trying to get the fever down. So we get into Saturday, the last day of the month, or last day of the year, really. It's December 31st. All right, sorry y'all, I had to go do something real quick. Okay, I'm trying to remember where I was at. I know I was talking about Saturday, but long story short, Saturday, I was okay with my temperature in the morning, but then in the afternoon, kind of started to rise up again. And my mom did get concerned. And she was like, listen, we're going to give it like maybe one more day, right? We're going to give it one more day. If your temperature continues to rise like this, we're going to have to take you to a doctor. And so, of course, at this point, I'm like, please let this fever go down. And so we get to yesterday, right? We get to yesterday, and finally my fever starts to go down. It starts, kind of staying in like the 90s. And so at this point, it's like, okay, we can conclude that the fever is breaking. I'm getting better. Everything seems to be cool now. Great. Now, even though I started feeling better, for some reason I still couldn't eat really. And it was a hard thing to explain. Because it's like I wasn't like throwing up or anything, but I just couldn't physically get myself to eat, even though I had an appetite. Oh, that was the other thing too that I forgot. Okay, so on, what was it? Saturday, I think. No. Yeah. Sunday. So early Sunday morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning. Once I finally started to feel better, my hunger started to kick in quick, because I hadn't had a full real meal since that Wednesday. So it had been several days since I had really eaten anything. And so the hunger immediately hit me, and it hit me hard. Like I felt so sick. Like I was basically dragging myself to the kitchen to try to find something to eat. And like I tried to cook some stuff, couldn't do it, couldn't eat it. And the stuff that I did had, I feel like it was just making me more hungry. Cause I even tried to like, get like a snack and stuff like that to try to like help, and everything was just making the hunger like worse and worse and worse. And I'm like, oh my god, this is just so miserable. And so I get up at like 8 o'clock and I'm like, hey, so I haven't had any sleep. I tell my mom this. I'm like, I haven't had any sleep. Because, I was breaking my fever and, all the cold sweats. Oh, and that's the other thing too. I had so much cold sweats that I sweated out 3 sets of clothes. Like it was that much. Now, granted, I'm happy that my fever was finally breaking, but the cold sweats were just it was just awful. But yeah, so I was like, I was having back to back cold sweats. I couldn't really sleep because I wasn't comfortable, and I was super hungry. And so I'm like, I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to get my appetite back, but for some reason I still can't eat for real. And so my mom was like, oh, well, why don't you make a smoothie? And so I'm like, oh, okay. So because I didn't think to make a smoothie. So I'm like, okay, so how we're gonna go about that, because we didn't really have any fruit. So I thought, but we did have frozen fruit in the freezer that we've used before to make a smoothie. And so she was like, you could make another smoothie using the same stuff you used before. And because we had all the ingredients, I'm like, okay, bet. I was so excited to finally be able to consume something that tastes good and that could potentially help with my hunger. And so I made the smoothie, and I drank like half of it, went to go take a shower, went to go lay down, take a nap. I took my temperature again. What? It doesn't matter. I took my temperature again. Then I went to go take a nap. This is where things took a turn for the worst. I wake up. I slightly wake up. And I feel like my throat is like swelling. And sometimes I experience stuff not knowing whether or not it's like real life or a dream. And so for some reason I just ignored it and went back to sleep. Then I woke up again, and I was dealing with the same thing where I felt like my throat was swelling up, and I'm like, "Ooh, okay, like that doesn't feel right." Okay. And so I'm thinking like, okay, maybe it's just like a sore throat. I'm not thinking there's anything too serious. So basically I go to tell my mom. Actually, no, she came to my room, I think. I think she came to my room. She was like, hey, how are you feeling? And I was like, I think, because, and disclaimer, I'm going to have to, probably say this a few times. Okay. So I have had very minor issues with strawberries in the past. Minor though. Super, super minor. Like nothing serious. Nothing. And like it's not an excuse. I know I'm making excuses, but it's not an excuse. But it's just to kind of put things into perspective here. So I tell her, I'm like, I think the strawberries in this might have did something, because my throat feel kind of scratchy and a little swollen. I don't know. So she was okay. Did you take Benadryl? I'm like, yeah, because I immediately took the Benadryl, but I was still a little bit concerned. So I was like, okay, let me say something. And so she's like, all right, well, go brush your teeth just in case. Like, just in case there's still like strawberry stuff in your mouth, just go ahead and brush your teeth and get that all out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. So I put toothpaste on the toothbrush. I look up to start brushing my teeth, and my entire face is completely covered in hives. I've completely broken out from this smoothie. And mind you, this is the first time this has ever happened to me. I've never had hives ever in my life. I've never had any type of like real, like serious allergic reaction. This has never happened before. And so I look at my face and I'm like, oh my God, this is actually happening right now. And so I run to my mom and I'm like, hey, my face. And then she looked at it and she was like, yeah, no, we gotta go. Like, we have to go see a doctor, like, right now. And immediately I got so scared. I got so freaking scared. And, because we were already saying that, we should probably go because of, me being sick, but I was feeling better and I was, breaking the fever. And so, of course, my mom was like, oh, you probably want to mention, you being sick too. And so I'm like, what kind of explanation am I going to give these people? Like, oh, yeah, so I'm here for an allergic reaction from strawberries that, I've had, reactions to it in the past, but, I decided to have the smoothie anyway. And also, I've been sick since Wednesday. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot, and I just didn't want to have to try to explain all of that to the doctor. But it is what it is. So, of course, we get to the doctor's, and I have to go in and do like the initial check-in with the nurses. Okay, so once I was in there with the nurses, of course they did their like initial check-in, right? And at this point I'm also very flustered because, again, as someone with anxiety, I like to go into things prepared, and this was very like last minute rushed. And I was under the impression that my mom was going to come with me. She did eventually, but she didn't come with me like initially back there. So I'm like wondering why she isn't coming with me, and then I'm over here trying to explain, and I was like all over the place and not making sense. And yeah, anyway, so I'm telling them what happened with the smoothie, and of course they're telling me what I already know, that if I've had issues with strawberries in the past, don't touch strawberries ever again. I'm like, I know, like, cause I take full responsibility for this, by the way. I'm not mad at nobody other than myself. Like, I already know, like, it's me, it's my fault, like, I know, right? And so then I tell them about, my sickness and what I've been going through the past couple of days. Come to find out, I had the flu. So it wasn't COVID. It was just a really bad case of the flu, which is crazy because I had the flu shot. And yes, I know that the flu shot doesn't, prevent the flu, yada, yada, yada. But still, the fact that this was the worst flu I've ever had, and I had the flu shot, it's just like, really? But, whatever. Get through all that. And then they start, just doing like the regular checks, like they check for your temperature, your blood pressure, and your heart rate, right? And so everything is coming out normal. But then we get to the heart rate. And they're like they look concerned. And so I'm like, what's going on? Like, is everything okay? And they're like, we're gonna bring you to the back. And I'm like, okay. So I start getting concerned. I have no idea what's going on. And so we get to the back, and they bring in a doctor. And basically she's like, hey, so we're gonna have to hook you up to a heart monitor because your heart rate is extremely high. Y'all will not believe what my heart rate was. So for those of y'all who don't know, a regular heartbeat is between 60 to 100 beats per minute. My heart rate at the initial check-in with the nurses was 160. 160. It was dangerously high. And so, of course, I immediately get concerned. Because that's my heart. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what's going on? And so, they hook me up. And this is where, things really start to be like, crazy. And also, it's just like, it's just the fact that, like, I went in for one issue, and then I ended up discovering other issues. Like, I came in because I had an allergic reaction. I knew what the reaction was for. They told me I had the flu, but, I was on the mend of it. Okay, cool. But now I've discovered this whole new issue with my heart. And so they start hooking me up, to the heart monitor. Oh, also I had a slight fever of 100.1, which to me, 100.1 is not that deep, but they were taking it very, very seriously. Like, they meant they were gonna get that fever down. And so this is where the medicine part comes in. They gave me so much medicine, and for anyone who knows me, I don't like taking medicine like that. Like I really don't like taking a whole lot of medicine. I will take the bare minimum amount. Or if I can get away with not taking medicine, I won't. Like even like pain medication, I tough it out. Like I don't like taking a lot of medication at all. I'm not some, because I know people that'll like go over the recommended dosage. That'll never be me. I'm very clear on, taking as minimal medicine as possible. And I'm very, very particular even about the time windows. Like when it says like, oh, take every 4 hours or don't exceed this many times. I followed that to a T. I don't play around when it comes to medicine. And so they were just, boy, they were giving me all the medicine. Now, also, I can't take pills, y'all. I can't take pills. I can't do it. I've tried. I psych myself out every single time. I literally can't do it. All those tricks that people tell me don't work. And please don't leave any in the comments, because y'all, I promise y'all have not said anything I haven't already heard. In terms of, put it in applesauce. Put it in the back of your tongue. Hold your breath. All of it don't work. But of course, so when it came to the Benadryl, they gave me that in liquid form, but it tasted disgusting. That was by far the worst. That might have been worse than Mucinex, and that's saying a lot. It was disgusting and strong. It was, yeah. But then they gave me 1,000 milligrams of pain medication. I'm like, is this legal? Like, is this legal? Like, I was so concerned. Because, again, I've never had that much medicine before in my life. I'm like, bro, like, is this even allowed? But it was all these big pills. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I can't. And so I'm like, please, like, do y'all have, like, liquid? And basically they were short on liquid. And they said that if they gave me liquid, that it would deplete their supply. And so they weren't able to give it to me. And so they did let me put it in applesauce. And, the thing I do, and yes, I know you're not supposed to do this. I don't care. I let it dissolve completely before I took it. But even then, it was still hard to get down because the pill itself tastes nasty. I was just going through it, y'all. I was going through it. It was so bad. But that was honestly probably one of the worst parts, was trying to get the pills down. And so, after that, they start to, they want to get me on IV, right? Now I had never had an IV put into me before. This is my first time ever experiencing that. And so they're trying to find a pulse in me. Not a pulse, sorry. I don't know why I keep saying that. A vein. They're trying to find a vein to use to put the IV in. They can't find one. Like they are just going from arm to arm to arm. They even brought in another person. They had 2 people working on my arms trying to find a vein, and they couldn't find one. And so they ended up having to put the IV in my hand. And it like and it hurt at first. After a while it didn't anymore, but while they were trying to like do it, it was, especially when they were taking the blood and stuff, it hurt, bro. But yeah, so they got the IV in me. They let me sit with that because they wanted me to complete the IV before I left and did anything else. Let's see what else. So then I continued to take more tests, to blood tests, urine tests, all that jazz. And then they decide they want to do a CT scan on me. And immediately I get nervous again, like very nervous. Because my mom had something similar, I think. And the way that she talked about it, I was terrified. Because she was talking about how like she couldn't move at all, and they had to give her something to put her to sleep. And I was really, really scared, because I'm like, yo, I don't know. I started like, but then I started Googling like pictures of like the CT scan machine, and it wasn't enclosed. Like, it looked open. So I'm like, This isn't what she was talking about, but I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I'm just embracing myself for the worst. And then come to find out it was an open machine. So I wasn't like confined in, a tube. Like I was open, like I granted you still can't move, but you didn't feel like you were suffocating in it. So that was a good thing. But that CT scan, that was something else. Like that low key like terrified me too. And the nurse that I had, she was, by the way, I'm not going to say the name of the place I went to, but everybody there was so nice. The staff was great. Like everyone was so nice. But the nurse that was in there, she she told me how everything was going to go, walked me through everything. But this is where I started to get really, nervous again. Because again, never did this before, never had a CT scan before, didn't know. So she said that, with the CT scan, they're going to give you like this like liquid that goes into your body like immediately. And she said you're going to feel really warm and tingly. And you're going to have like a metallic taste in your mouth. And so when she said that, I was like, okay. So of course I started getting really nervous, but I'm like, well, I can't not do it. Like I have to do it. So it is what it is. And that experience, yeah, I freaked out. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't move or anything. Like she said, I did good. I didn't move at all, but I was panicking because I'm like, oh my god, because it was more intense than what I was prepared for. But I got to the CT scan. And yeah, after that I just waited to get discharged from there. And yeah, but yeah, overall, it was a lot. For New Year's Day, it was a lot. I was not expecting to bring in the new year like this. It was just, yeah, but I didn't let it get to me too bad, because I mean, y'all know, I said it before, after last year, not much phases me at this point. Yeah, I still get nervous, and I still get frustrated, and I still feel all the feels from time to time, but at this point I just gotta take it. Like things happen, and I just have to take it and adjust. And so I'm like, this is just another obstacle that I'm gonna have to get past. And so yeah, I felt like I just dealt with it. And so basically, just to summarize everything that happened, or everything that I had, right? And so I for sure have an allergy to strawberries. So anybody that knows me in real life, can't have strawberries. Strawberry lemonade, no. Strawberry soda, nope. Strawberry ice cream, nope. I cannot have strawberries, which sucks because strawberry literally was my favorite flavor. Like I just had a strawberry frosty like a couple months ago, and it was heaven. I can't do it anymore. Even strawberry milk. Strawberry milk was a staple in my childhood. Can't do it anymore. I'm still looking to see if citric acid might be an issue. I don't think so, because so far I haven't had any issues when it comes to like, orange juice or lemonade or anything like that. And so I think citrus is okay, but of course we're going to wait and see about that. But yeah, the biggest thing though, and the flu. I had a really bad case of the flu. But yeah, the biggest thing though was my heart. And so I was diagnosed with Takai. How you spell that? I'm gonna put the word on the screen. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it. I'm gonna put the word on the screen. Okay, y'all see it. And basically, it's a condition that makes your heart beat more than 100 times per minute. So that is what I'm dealing with right now. I do have to follow up with a cardiologist to run more tests and see what's going on with my heart. And so yeah, I definitely want to see what's going on with that. But yeah, a lot of changes are gonna have to be made. I already said I wanted to be more healthy, but now it's pertinent that I start developing a better healthy eating lifestyle. There's a lot of things I'm gonna have to cut out of what I normally eat, which sucks. There's a lot of things I'll never be able to eat again or drink again. Strawberry syrup, like there's just, y'all don't understand how upsetting this is. Like, I love strawberries. I love strawberries. And not only that, I've never even had like a strawberry, a chocolate covered strawberry. Never had it, and I never will. Um, but I mean, it is what it is. You know, people have allergies. People have peanut allergies, you know. They'll never be able to have peanut butter again. You know, like, I'm not the only one. It's just crazy how you can develop allergies as an adult. I always thought that, you know, you either have allergies when you know, are younger, and like that's it. I didn't think that you develop them over time, but it is what it is. Can't have strawberries. But yeah, I'll let y'all know and keep y'all updated if there is anything serious going on with my heart. But I will say, because, you know, sometimes I be dramatic when I'm like, you know, oh, I need to, you know, stay calm and, you know, protect my mental space. I'm not being dramatic anymore. I actually do need to protect my mental health, my space, and keep my energy good, because I literally, my life cannot afford for me to be too stressed out, clearly. So, yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and watching this whole video if you did. I'm sorry if I rambled too much or talked about something for too long, but if you did stay all the way through, I really do appreciate it. I am going to try to get back going with the videos, but I do still need to kind of rest though. But we'll see, you know, because I do want to, I also want to start posting, you know, more like, you know, shorts, and I'm thinking about Instagram reels. I don't know. But yeah, videos will be back though. Like, I just didn't want y'all to think that I just, like, you know, quit and gave up. No, like, I actually had a lot of health stuff going on. What a way to bring in the new year, you know, because I wanted my first video to be like a happy New Year's type of video, but this was literally how I brought in the new year, which is crazy. But I think it just put a lot of things into perspective, in that I need to take my health, you know, seriously, and I need to be, you know, this is gonna change some things for me. And so yeah, I just wanted to share that. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so you guys know when I drop new videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video.